Coming up on UMTV News, a major victory for the Biden administration as the president signs a major infrastructure package. We'll tell you what that means for the United States.
Plus, a big announcement from UM Athletics following the Canes' loss against Florida State on Saturday.
Also, UMTV reporter Julia Hegg takes us to Sunny Isles for a beach cleanup.
These stories and a lot more coming up on tonight's show.
UMTV News starts right now. Hello and welcome to UMTV News. I am Macia Leiva.
And I'm Victoria Scott. Thank you for joining us. President Joe Biden is commemorating a major legislative victory as he signed the $1.2 trillion bipartisan infrastructure package into law yesterday. The legislation aims to deliver $550 billion of new federal investments in America's infrastructure over 5 years. The bill signing ceremony was also a moment of bipartisan unity, with leaders from both sides of the aisle in attendance. In Washington, D.C., a rare bipartisan moment Monday afternoon as President Joe Biden celebrates a major legislative win.
We're finally getting this done.
The president signing the $1.2 trillion infrastructure bill into law, clearing the way for federal investments in communities throughout the nation.
My message to the American people is this: America's moving again, and your life is going to change for the better.
The package will deliver $550 billion in new federal money to upgrade America's aging infrastructure over the next 5 years. At its core, more funding for roads and bridges, as well as mass transit, rail, airports, ports, and waterways.
We have been waiting literally for decades for this kind of investment in infrastructure in this city.
The bill includes billions of dollars to improve access to high-speed internet and clean drinking water. It will also help with electric grid enhancements and climate resiliency projects, and allocates money to build a network of plug-in electric vehicle chargers across the country. Lawmakers on both sides of the political aisle coming together.
This bipartisan support for this bill comes because it makes sense for our constituents. But the approach from the center out should be the norm, not the exception.
The Biden administration says it will take time for Americans to notice the results of the bill's investments, but believes it will have a transformational impact down the road. And President Biden is in New Hampshire today to talk about the benefits of the new infrastructure bill. The White House says the timeline for implementation will range from, quote, short order to, quote, a number of years.
Today is the first day the jury in the Kyle Rittenhouse trial is meeting to deliberate after 8 days hearing more than 30 witnesses. 18-year-old Rittenhouse is on trial for shooting 3 men during a violent night of protest in Kenosha, Wisconsin in August 2020. His lawyers are arguing a self-defense case, saying the now teenager was protecting himself that night. Today, at the wish of the judge, Rittenhouse used a raffle tumbler to randomly draw and narrow down the panel of 18 jurors to 12. He's facing 5 felony charges, and the jury can consider lesser offenses for 2 of the charges. In closing arguments yesterday, the prosecution rested their case, saying if he's not charged, he would be let off the hook.
A lot of murder cases we're in here trying to convince a jury that the defendant killed somebody. That's not in dispute here. That's the easy part. The question is, does he get a pass?
It's up to the jurors how long they will need to decide a verdict. If Rittenhouse is convicted of the most serious charge, he could face life in prison. New details today in the death of Ahmad Arbury. A forensic pathologist testified describing his findings based on the autopsy. And for the first time, also a recording of the homicide was played, now able to describe what he believes happened in the final moments before Arbury died. Father and son, Gregory and Travis McMichael, along with their neighbor William Bryan Jr., faced charges including malice and felony murder in Arbury's death. Arbury's family said he was out for a jog when he was shot and killed in February. And today, forensic pathologist Dr. Edmund Donahue told prosecutors the injury between Arbury's thumb and pinky could be consistent with pushing the shotgun away or grabbing it. Donahue said he could not determine the order the shots were fired based solely on his autopsy. But after reviewing the video of the homicide, he said he believed Arbury's hand was in front of his chest when the shot first grazed his wrist
entered his chest, and broke multiple ribs. He also said no matter what life-saving measures police attempted on the scene, Arbury still would have died.
In other words, is there anything they could have done on scene to save his life?
No.
The trial will continue this week.
One local organization here in South Florida is helping children and families who have lost loved ones. The organization held a 5K run over the weekend, and UMTV reporter Blake Adwell covered the event. He's live in studio with more. Blake, what can you tell us?
Thanks, Maciel. So the Childhood Bereavement Center supports kids, young adults, and families through loss. The organization held a 5K Steps for Healing run over the weekend to honor their loved ones. Athletes young and old running to remember at the Childhood Bereavement Center Steps for Healing 5K race.
So today what we're doing is bringing out participants past and present who've lost a loved one to honor their memory. And it's helpful because part of what we do is making sure that a community is together. So we run together, we remember together.
Kids, adults, and families gathered outside Zoo Miami at 8 in the morning.
We're doing shirts, we're doing wristbands, we're doing the badges, making sure everyone's official and making sure they're going to be ready for the race.
Once participants geared up, it was time to run.
I'm not really a runner, so this is the once a year when I do go out and attempt to run. And with COVID, I've probably gotten in better shape, so it was a great experience.
James Cassell walked away with a medal for his performance in the race. He's been supporting a Childhood Bereavement Center since its creation in 1999.
I've watched the organization over 22 years grow to where it's providing much more, whether it's training, whether it's helping families.
The nonprofit organization helps anyone who has lost a loved one.
So we have free grief support groups, and we allow anyone from the community to come and be a part of those groups for as long as they need to, whenever they need to.
The group meets virtually every Tuesday night on Zoom. Children, young adults, and adult caregivers are included.
We really hope that no one will ever have to grieve alone. And what we have seen is that group support is extremely powerful in helping people not only adjust after loss, but to thrive.
Now, the grief support groups are fully virtual for the moment, but the Childhood Bereavement Center is hopeful that they will be able to have meetings in person sometime soon. Reporting for UMTV, I'm Blake Atwell.
Thanks, Blake. Florida lawmakers are meeting this week for a special session aiming to block federal vaccine mandates, including attempts to stop President Biden's vaccine mandate for larger businesses. Governor Ron DeSantis has called the special session to ask state lawmakers to pass more measures on defiance of the Biden administration's coronavirus measures. The 4 bills before state lawmakers would increase penalties for businesses and local government that require workers to be vaccinated against COVID-19. If passed, the new Republican-backed laws would strengthen the governor's executive orders. That includes one that gives parents the right to decide whether their kids wear masks in school. Democrats complain the governor has flipped from fighting coronavirus to fighting science-based efforts to stop the spread of the pandemic.
Coming off 3 straight victories, Miami football took a wave of momentum with them into FSU weekend. The Canes traveled to Florida State Saturday looking to keep that win streak alive. Let's see how it went and check out some highlights. Miami got off to quite a rough start, trailing 17-0 after just the first quarter, but the Canes weren't done just yet. Miami stormed back and led 21-20 by the end of the third quarter. However, Florida State would break the hearts of UM fans, scoring the game-winning touchdown with under 30 seconds left. Miami loses this one by a final score of 31-28.
And 2 days after Miami lost to Florida State, the University of Miami parted ways with its athletics director, Blake James. In an email sent by the university administration to students and faculty on Monday, November 15th, James was quoted saying, "It has been an honor to lead Miami athletics and to be a part of such a world-class institution. I am proud of the work that we have done together, though I still know there is more yet to be achieved. I want to thank our university leadership, our athletic staff, our coaches, and especially our incredible student athletes for their commitment to excellence and for believing in what the University of Miami can accomplish. I wish the Canes nothing but the best and look forward to my next endeavors." During James's tenure as athletics director since 2013, Miami student athletics and teams captured 5 NCAA individual championships, 6 ACC team titles, and 71 individual ACC titles. A national search for the university's next athletics director will begin immediately.
And it's time for a short break now, but when we come back, immigration crisis. We'll tell you what's happening with migrants in the Belarus-Poland border checkpoint. Stay with us.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
What to expect when you're expecting.
Like here?
A teenager.
Today, I'm going to show you how to teen-proof your home. First step, hide the car keys. Preferably somewhere they would never look. Challenges will come up. Be ready for them. Hi, honey.
I'm ready for the... Mom, you don't use mannequins in the mannequin challenge.
You don't have to know it all to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
The European Union has reached an agreement on the next round of sanctions targeting Belarus for the migrant crisis at the border with Poland. According to the EU, the new package of sanctions will target those responsible for exploiting migrants. These sanctions come after the migrant crisis has escalated and violence has erupted along the border of Belarus and Poland. Poland is trying to keep migrants from crossing over from the Belarus side. Tear gas and water cannons are being fired from the Polish side, while migrants throw rocks. There are no reports of deaths so far.
And speaking of protests, Cubans in South Florida have been rallying outside of the iconic Versailles restaurant on Calle Ocho to demonstrate their support for Cubans in the island demanding freedom. On November 15, opposition groups in Cuba took to the streets demanding greater freedoms and the release of jailed activists. That despite the fact that the Cuban government has banned protests, authorities responded by blocking people from leaving their homes and cracking down on protesters.
Staying in South Florida, the weather has been beautiful the past few weekends. And for us in Miami, that means it's time to hit the beach. Our reporter Julia Hecht joins us live to tell us more about one event on Sunny Isles Beach this weekend that was good for the soul and the environment. Julia?
Yeah, guys, if you head over to Sunny Isles Beach on a Sunday, you'll probably see a bunch of high schoolers. Now, that's nothing out of the ordinary for a South Florida beach, but it's what these kids are doing that's so special. South Florida is famous for being home to some of the country's most beautiful beaches, and Sunny Isles Beach in Miami-Dade County is no exception. But even the most beautiful places have their faults.
I did notice that there was a bunch of trash, and even though, the beach looks very clean, and if you look around, you could see some trash in the bushes. I feel like a lot of people don't realize how bad it is for us and for the environment and for our marine life.
And just like that, Sunny Isles Beach Cleanup was founded in 2020.
Volunteers, come together. I start my cleanup, I send them out, and when they come back, we're gonna weigh the trash.
According to Ocean Conservancy, scientists are estimating that more than 11 million tons of plastics are entering our ocean every year. To put that in perspective, humans use 100 million tons of plastic a year. That's over 10% of consumed plastic that ends up in our oceans. Now, beach cleanups don't completely rid the ocean of trash and plastic, but they do help bring awareness to the issue and help educate people through action.
Trash in the ocean is really common, and there's a lot of pollution, and just like helping people generally, I want to help also the environment and animals and fish and stuff like that, and I want to just make it a cleaner environment overall.
The Sunny Isles Beach Cleanup has helped over 700 South Floridians do just that, with around 2,500 pounds of trash collected over a year. The Sunny Isles Beach Cleanup takes place every Sunday. Irina says that her favorite part about hosting the cleanup is watching the amount of volunteers grow from week to week. She says that she's seen the amount of volunteers go from 5 to 10 to even 40. Now, if you want to learn more about the Sunny Isles Beach Cleanup or get more involved, you can go to their Instagram. Their handle is down below. Reporting live for UMTV, I'm Julia Hecht. Back to you.
The Swift Reverse. We'll take a look at the re-release of one of Taylor Swift's most beloved albums and what records it's already breaking. Details when UMTV News returns. Don't go anywhere.
Hi, may I please have an application? Thank you.
Skip the drama. Get your diploma.
Okay.
Take that first step towards a better future. Find free adult education classes at finishyourdiploma.org.
With the holiday season right around the corner, spending time outdoors with family and friends is a great option to enjoy the chilly weather. And here in Coconut Grove, you can find the perfect place to enjoy food and have a good time. The Vizcaya Farmers Market takes place every Sunday from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. It features a variety of local vendors offering organic produce, spices, fruits, vegetables, coffee, and even cheese by the slice. You can also bring your four-legged friends for some treats, and visitors can enjoy offers from a dozen of vendors and take home locally grown products and handmade pastries while having a great time.
I'm looking for buying some veggies, fresh veggies and fresh fruits, and also some bread and having a breakfast around here. So everything seems very natural, very organic, and people are very open to talk to us. We got some pastries, some bread, and some jam, marmalade.
This is a Rain or Shine event organized by the Urban Oasis Project, which is an organization that promotes the importance of making healthy local food more accessible to all. The market is at 3250 South Miami Avenue, only 5 miles away from the University of Miami Coral Gables campus. Admissions and parking at the Vizcaya Farmers Market are free.
Taylor Swift is reveling in the success of the re-release of her 2012 album Red. Red, Taylor's version, is the second of Swift's albums to get a re-release, following the sale of her master recordings to record executive Scooter Braun. The album is nearly identical to the 2012 release and includes hits like We Are Never Getting Back Together and 22. There are also 9 songs on the album that were written in 2012 but never released. Red, Taylor's version, broke Spotify's record for most streamed album in a day on Friday, a record also previously held by Swift.
It's official, Britney Spears is free. The 13th conversationship battle between Britney Spears and her father, Jamie Spears, came to a close on Friday. This marks the official end of Spears' father's management of the pop princess' $60 million estate. All assets will be transferred to the singer's trust. There is no word as to what Britney plans on doing next career-wise, as she says she's focusing on her newfound happiness.
And finally today, the best thing since sliced bread is sliced homemade bread. It's National Homemade Bread Day. And there are so many ways to celebrate. Sandwich bread, dinner rolls, challah. Baking a bread is the yeast you can do today. National Homemade Bread Day has been around since the 80s. The National Homemade Bread Committee from Ann Arbor, Michigan created it as a way to encourage family time.
I don't know about you, Victoria, but I love a good bread, homemade bread with butter. Delicious.
I know, I can't remember the last time I've had homemade bread, but that definitely sounds incredible.
Yes. And that's all the time we have for tonight on UMTV News.
We are off next week for Thanksgiving break, but we will see you again in 2 weeks. Happy Thanksgiving and stay safe.